If these vicious beasts were left alone, it would not be long before they threatened the stability of the Northern Kingdom. The greatest worry of the Northern Kingdom was these beast tides when the vicious beasts arrived in large numbers. Li Yuanqing scanned the countless hidden vicious beasts in the wilderness and had an idea. He was currently at the 5th grade Grotto Heaven realm. Although he had not met his match, who knew when those hidden enemies would appear? Moreover, the world was so big. Who could guarantee that he would be invincible if he went out now? Therefore, while he continued to sign in the Northern Kingdom, he could use the vicious beasts in the wilderness canyon to temper himself and increase his strength when necessary. This should be a good idea. He could increase combat ability. When Li Yuanqing arrived at the Grand Canyon, there was fog lingering here. However, there was a faint red color in the fog. With his previous experience, Li Yuanqing jumped down the canyon and went to find the little boss serpent's nest. When he passed by the wide river, he saw waves rolling in the water. A python was floating on the surface of the water and was split into many pieces. On the other hand, the countless vicious beasts by the river were trembling in fear. Not a single vicious beast dared to go forward and snatch it facing the python's corpse. They only looked at the water in horror and retreated in fear. There should be something in the river that scared them. It had been 3 years since Li Yuanqing came to the bottom of the canyon. He simply stopped by the river. He wanted to see what kind of vicious beast was at the bottom of the canyon that could bite and tear apart such a huge python. As the river water churned, a huge figure suddenly appeared. Its head was like a mountain, and its body was pitch black, but its head was green. Its eyes, which were bigger than houses, were red as it stared at the vicious beasts on the shore and let out hissing sounds. Those vicious beasts were originally retreating, but after hearing this voice, they immediately dispersed, afraid that if they ran too slowly, they would become the food of the boss serpent. When the boss serpent saw that all the vicious beasts had dispersed, it stared at Li Yuanqing with a strange gaze. There was a hint of vigilance, but it was not ferocious. It just started to devour the python as if no one was around. The boss serpent needed to devour to become powerful, and their cultivation level was greatly related to their size. Therefore, this boss serpent was eating with all its might. In just a moment, it had devoured the python. It swam in a direction after eating the python. The direction in which this boss serpent slithered was very similar to the direction of the nest of the boss serpent that Li Yuanqing had saved 3 years ago. However, this boss serpent was too big. Could it be that the little boss serpent had changed so much in 3 years? Li Yuanqing did not alarm the boss serpent. When he saw that the final destination of the boss serpent was the source of the waterfall, Li Yuanqing was 100% sure that this boss serpent was the one he had saved back then. What a huge change. Li Yuanqing had come this time for this boss serpent, so he did not stand on ceremony. He wanted to jump onto the forehead of the boss serpent and plant the inner demon seed on it. The inner demon seed refined by the manipulation art the previous time controlled Hujujio. Now that Hujujio was injured and had been beaten back to her original form, she could only stay obediently. Li Yuanqing had refined a new inner demon seed. He wanted to control this boss serpent and use it to control the entire wilderness so that there would not be a large-scale beast tide attacking humans. Li Yuanqing wanted to subdue the boss serpent, but the boss serpent was unwilling. Although it did not want to attack Li Yuanqing, it instinctively resisted and turned around to escape when it saw the inner demon seed. Its body was too big, and it was extremely fast. As it fled, the boulders that it brought with it flew everywhere. For a moment, the world was dark and rumbling sounds were everywhere, accompanied by the hissing of the boss serpent. This sound was very familiar to the vicious beasts at the bottom of the canyon. Every time they heard this sound, there would always be abnormally ferocious vicious beasts being bitten to death and devoured at the bottom of the canyon. In the past few years, this boss serpent had been too ferocious. It ate whatever it encountered. There were very few vicious beasts that could escape from it. They wondered which unlucky fellow had caught its eye again, as long as it wasn't them. But from the sound of it, it seemed that the boss serpent had been attacked. Who would dare to attack the boss serpent here? Wasn't that courting death? Many of the vicious beasts in the canyon had gained intelligence. They had their own thoughts, and some of them had the possibility of transforming. so they had learned to think. Out of curiosity, some vicious beasts secretly followed the sound to see who was dealing with the boss serpent. Soon, they saw Li Yuanqing standing on the back of the boss serpent like a god. No matter how the boss serpent rolled, leaped, and crashed into the mountain, it could not shake off the person on its back. Instead, it was covered in blood and wounds. In the evening, the boss serpent finally collapsed at the bottom of the canyon. It looked at Li Yuanqing pleadingly, indicating that it was convinced and would never run again. Open your mouth and listen to me in the future. I will make you the beast king of the wilderness. After you lead the wilderness, you will help the northern kingdom guard the borders. The wilderness was vast, and there were countless vicious beasts here. The deeper they went, the more ferocious the vicious beasts were. There were many countries intersecting with the wilderness. Many countries regarded the wilderness as a forbidden place and did not dare to step into it easily. If the vicious beasts of the wilderness could be used by the northern kingdom, then the northern kingdom would not be bullied so easily. Instead of letting the northern kingdom encounter danger again and again, it was better to take the initiative to attack and resolve some small crises that were not life-threatening. The boss serpent was unwilling, but it had no choice but to lower its head. However, when it heard that it could become a beast king, a trace of hope flashed across its eyes. With a big stick and a sweet date, the boss serpent was finally planted with the inner demon seed obediently. Furthermore, it did not dare to resist. It was completely obedient. After subduing the boss serpent, Li Yuanqing did not return to the valley. Instead, he instructed the boss serpent to devour some powerful vicious beasts to recover from his injuries as soon as possible. Li Yuanqing brought the boss serpent out of the wilderness canyon. When they left the canyon, many vicious beasts at the bottom of the canyon could not help but heave a sigh of relief. They hoped that this ferocious boss serpent would never return. This time, Li Yuanqing chose a second-grade Grotto Heaven Realm centipede for the boss serpent. When it saw the centipede, the boss serpent could not help but retreat. Every tentacle of this huge centipede was countless times faster than the sharpest knife. Moreover, its body was on par with it. It was like a beast king. The boss serpent was injured. Its chances of winning against this super vicious beast were not high. Although devouring this centipede could allow its injuries to recover quickly, it had to be alive to enjoy it. The boss serpent kept retreating, but Li Yuanqing ordered it to advance and charge forward. The boss serpent was a little afraid, but in the next second, it was overjoyed. It was afraid because this centipede had many hands and feet, but Li Yuanqing picked up the clear sky sword and slashed at the centipede. The centipede was almost split into two when the sword light flashed past. At this moment, it was fleeing in a hurry and could not care less about the injuries on its body. So this centipede was also a coward. The boss serpent laughed. On the other hand, it was glad that it was obedient in the end. Otherwise, if its master took out a sword, it would be severely injured like the centipede in front of it and be cut into countless pieces. At the thought of this, the boss serpent moved faster. It charged forward with abnormal ferocity and opened its bloody mouth at the centipede. The boss serpent was originally about the same realm as the centipede, but its body had the advantage, and the centipede was injured. Naturally, it had the advantage. When, if not now, would it be able to charge up? After swallowing this centipede, the injuries on the boss serpent's body began to recover rapidly. Back then, it had devoured the body of the boss serpent and obtained many benefits from it. In addition, Li Yuanqing had once read the notes of the boss serpent clan. He obtained a few insights from it, which was to let the boss serpent devour all flesh and blood. The boss serpent clan could not obtain these huge, vicious beasts, so they used humans as a substitute. However, if the boss serpent continued to devour vicious beasts that were similar to him, its strength would increase greatly. That was why this boss serpent's advancement was countless times faster than the boss serpent that ate humans back then. It is because it devoured other vicious beasts at the bottom of the canyon. This was the reason. Since Li Yuanqing controlled this boss serpent, he wanted to quickly increase its strength and make it the strongest existence in the wilderness. In an era where spiritual energy was about to recover, he at least had some trump cards. He would not fall into a passive state at that time. Who knew what else would happen after the blood moon? In the next few months, Li Yuanqing brought this boss serpent and began to fight in the hinterlands of the wilderness. When the Qilan beast was in the wilderness, the strength of the vicious beasts here was not too high. However, in the past few years, the changes caused by the blood rain and the blood moon had greatly increased the strength of the vicious beasts in the wilderness. In addition, without the restrictions of the Beast King, these vicious beasts were already restless and began to move towards the edge of the wilderness. Some had already fled to where humans lived. Li Yuanqing planned to use these dishonest, vicious beasts to level up the boss serpent. When the crisis really came, it would be an excellent fighter. The boss serpent kept devouring those vicious beasts for several months. It was almost at the peak of the second-grade grotto heaven realm. On this day, Li Yuanqing brought this boss serpent to a huge mountain in the depths of the wilderness. There was not a single blade of grass on that mountain, but there was a lot of gold and jade. There was a beast on the mountain. It was shaped like a fox and had wings on its body. Its cry was like the cry of a wild goose. It was especially loud and its body was huge. When it saw the boss serpent, it rushed up. That kind of vicious beast was called the wild goose beast in the northern kingdom. It could fly and walk extremely quickly. Moreover, its claws and mouth were abnormally sharp. The boss serpent did not pay attention and was scratched. The boss serpent was furious. Over the past few days, it had encountered almost 1,000 types of vicious beasts in the wilderness. No matter how powerful they were all swallowed into its stomach. Therefore, when it suddenly encountered this wild goose beast and was caught off guard, it was naturally unwilling to retreat and rushed forward. For a moment, the boss serpent and the wild goose beast were evenly matched. The wild goose beast had a relatively nimble body and a noble bloodline. It was like a beast king in the wilderness and rarely met its match. It did not care about a little boss serpent at all. However, the wild goose beast never expected that the boss serpent controlled by Li Yuanqing would become stronger and stronger because it had devoured many vicious beasts. In particular, its combat strength was extremely explosive. It was so excited that it did not care about its injuries and opened its bloody mouth to devour the wild goose beast. The huge suction force made the wild goose beast unable to hold on. In addition, it was dizzy from the boss serpent's attack. Before it could react, it was swallowed by the boss serpent. This time, the boss serpent devoured the wild goose beast that was about the same strength as him. After digesting the strength of this wild goose beast, it would easily advance. This time, it directly advanced to the third-grade grotto heaven realm. It was almost invincible in this wilderness with a third-grade grotto heaven realm. Not only was its realm high, but it was also invincible. Furthermore, it had rich combat experience and had developed intelligence. It was especially smart after being trained by Li Yuanqing. With these points added together, the boss serpent became a tyrant in the wilderness and a beast king in the depths of the wilderness. No matter where it went, those vicious beasts either hid far away or crawled in front of it. They knelt down and begged for mercy, hoping that it would spare their lives. Fortunately, there were many vicious beasts in the wilderness. As long as the boss serpent was full, it would not devour anything. However, if it encountered a vicious beast that angered it, the boss serpent would not be polite. It would definitely not stop until it killed a certain vicious beast. 3 months later, the boss serpent completely unified the wilderness and became a beast king here. Li Yuanqing left with ease after completely restraining these vicious beasts. Moreover, he asked Wang Shun to bring a letter to Wang Xian and ask him to bring the students of the Martial Arts Academy to the edge of the wilderness to train. It allowed those students to kill some vicious beasts at the edge of the wilderness and pick some strange flowers and herbs or dig out some metal and stone. These were very common in the wilderness. However, they were all treasures in the northern kingdom. Letting those martial artists who were far away from school train could allow them to grow quickly. After the blood rain, the entire world structure would change. These people had to grow up as quickly as possible to deal with some unknown dangers. After settling these matters, Li Yuanqing returned to the wilderness valley and started signing in to cultivate crazily. Hu Jujio had already turned into a red fluffy little fox. She was extremely cute and obedient. She always followed Li Yuanqing and watched him cultivate. Cao was also very well behaved. He had not left the valley and was also cultivating. During the boss serpent incident, Cao did not help and was very ashamed. Another year passed after the bloody reign. This year, several martial saints appeared in the northern kingdom. Among them was Li Yuanqing, the current great empress. She had also stepped into the martial saint realm and reached the first stage grotto heaven realm. The other two martial saints, one was the old ancestor of an aristocratic family, and the other was the garrison general of the wilderness. They had also successfully broken through. This way, the northern kingdom, along with the Li clan's imperial uncle who had advanced in the past, would have 4 martial saints at once. This was something that they would never have dared to think about in the past. However, ever since the blood moon and blood rain appeared in the sky, everything seemed to be smooth sailing. Not only had the cultivation of the martial artists of the northern kingdom improved greatly, but the same was true for the other countries. Many martial saints had suddenly appeared. For a time, martial saints did not seem to be that rare. Any country had many martial saints. Among the powerhouses who suddenly appeared, the Wings clan, who originally lived in the forest to worship the moon god, had the most martial saints. Before the blood moon appeared, the Wings clan only lived in the forest. Because they were remote and difficult to find, they were not valued. It was only a vassal of the northern kingdom. Every year, it would pay tribute to the northern kingdom. However, 3 months after the blood moon appeared, the Wings clan began to annex the surrounding Chong and Li clans. In less than half a year, they had annexed the Chong and Li clans. When the northern kingdom received the help of the 2 clan leaders, only a few dozen people from the 2 clans had escaped. After seeing great Empress Zhaoyang, they held a blood letter in their hands and begged Zhaoyang to avenge them and reclaim the place they used to live. The Chong, Li, and Wings clans were all vassals of the northern kingdom. These clans used to pay tribute to the northern kingdom every year. When the northern kingdom had an expedition, they would also send people to help. There were actually many such vassals in the northern kingdom. At this moment, these vassal countries were looking at the newly appointed Great Empress Zhaoyang. In their eyes, it would be very difficult to obtain the loyalty and protection of these vassals in the future if Zhaoyang allowed the Wings clan to be tyrannical, snatching the territory of other races at will and killing their clansmen. If the northern kingdom did not stand up for them, these vassals would change sides at any time and submit to other countries. Although their ethnicity was small and the place they occupied was not big, it would be very troublesome if they really caused a ruckus. In serious cases, it would affect the entire regime of the northern kingdom and cause internal strife. Zhaoyang, who had only been on the throne for a few years, naturally understood this principle. This matter was already very obvious. It was the Wings clan's fault. They had violated the rules set by the northern kingdom. The rules state that the various vassals should coexist peacefully. No one could snatch territory and kill the commoners. The Wings clan had violated the agreement, which was equivalent to challenging the prestige of the northern kingdom. Great Empress Zhaoyang already had several martial saints on her side, so she immediately issued an imperial decree to attack the Wings clan as a warning to others. The imperial decree was issued. Princess Zhaoyang asked the general of the wilderness base, Qin Feng, who was also a new martial saint, to wipe out the Wings clan and bring back the leader of the Wings clan to confess. Who knew that Qin Feng would be defeated after going to the Wings clan? Even Qin Feng's whereabouts were unknown. In this internal war between the northern kingdom and the Wings clan, the northern kingdom was defeated. Zhaoyang was anxious. This time, she directly sent out her uncle and the old ancestor of the aristocratic family. They also brought 100,000 soldiers and tens of thousands of martial artists to attack the Wings clan. However, she did not expect that the old ancestor of the aristocratic family would be killed this time. Her uncle was severely injured and fled back to the northern kingdom. This was nothing. What was even more detestable was that the patriarch of the Wings clan had sent someone to deliver a letter of challenge. At this moment, they wanted to establish themselves as a country and become the Wings nation. They wanted the northern kingdom to become their vassal. They also wanted the northern kingdom to pay 10 million taels of gold and silver every year, along with 1,000 carriages of various treasures and 10,000 peerless beauties. He even suggested that Great Empress Zhaoyang marry the patriarch of the Wings clan as a concubine, because the patriarch of the Wings clan already had a wife. As soon as this condition was raised, the entire northern kingdom exploded. This was too much. Although the Wings clan, which originally had less than 100,000 people, had annexed the Chong and Li clans, their total population was less than 1 million. A vassal of the northern kingdom actually dared to make such a request. This was too much. However, the Wings clan, who only had this few people, had injured a martial saint of the northern kingdom, made a martial saint disappear, and killed the other martial saint. 3 of the 4 martial saints of the northern kingdom were gone. Xiaoyang sat in the throne room without saying a word. She was not as agitated as those courtiers. As a monarch, although she was a woman, she was brave and resourceful. Don't you find it strange? In the beginning, the Wings clan had less than 100,000 people. They didn't even have a martial saint. However, they had the strength to deal with our 3 martial saints. Isn't that strange? The Wings clan knows our strength, but we can't figure out their strength. This is the most terrifying thing. The strength of a country doesn't depend on how many people it has, but how many experts it has. Investigate. Investigate at all costs. Find out why the Wings clan advanced so quickly in such a short period of time. How many experts do they have? Xiaoyang was concerned about the confidence of the Wings clan. How many experts did they have? If one did not know their enemy, they would only be beaten up by the Wings clan. How could they be angry and insulted then? After leaving the throne room, Xiaoyang went to see her uncle. She even specially gave him a few pills and listened to her uncle's opinion on the Wings clan. In the prince's residence, her uncle seemed to have aged 20 years. The wrinkles on his face were faintly visible. This injury had dealt him a huge blow. When he saw Great Empress Xiaoyang coming over personally, her uncle cupped his hands at her and sighed. It's not that I'm trying to boost the morale of others and dampen the prestige of my own clan. If the Wings clan's patriarch is willing to marry you as his wife, I think your majesty can consider it, because I realize that the Wings clan is too strong. They're so powerful that you can't even imagine it. They have such strength in such a short period of time. I'm afraid that the Northern Kingdom will be theirs sooner or later. There are more than 10 martial saints in their clan, and they're all at the 2nd grade Grotto Heaven realm or above. Any one of them can resist us? Her uncle's heart ached as he said this. Although he was unwilling to admit this fact, he really couldn't. He had fought with those people before. He really couldn't defeat them. He even had a feeling that if he wasn't the Great Empress's uncle, he might have been killed along with the old ancestor. Then is there a chance of survival? Moreover, he had observed that there were more than 10 such experts in the Wings clan. It was only a matter of time before such a powerful Wings clan rose. Even if their northern kingdom had a few martial saints in the past, they were nothing compared to the Wings clan. If they wanted to invade their northern kingdom, they only needed to send 1 or 2 martial saints with 2nd grade Grotto Heaven realms. They could not defeat them and could only surrender completely. The difference in strength was too great. They did not have the confidence to fight at all. Sigh. When the Chong and Li clans were destroyed by the Wings clan, we really shouldn't have gotten involved. It's difficult for us to get out now, Uncle sighed, feeling extremely uncomfortable in his heart. Only he dared to say such disrespectful words. It was precisely because of his words that Xiaoyang felt that the Northern Kingdom would have no choice but to ask her brother to help. This was their only hope. Li Yuanqing, who had returned to the valley from the wilderness, began to sign in and accumulate strength again. After the blood moon, the situation in the entire world would definitely change. With the recovery of spiritual energy, there would definitely be more and more martial saints in the future. It would even feel like martial saints were everywhere. He, who had sensed the opportunity, had to be at the front to become stronger after this blood moon. In fact, Li Yuanqing had benefited greatly from the blood moon that day. His strength had increased very quickly. He already had the strength of a 4th grade Grotto Heaven realm cultivator. He was still 5 levels away from the 9th grade Grotto Heaven realm. After a martial saint entered the 9th grade Grotto Heaven realm, they would advance to the 1st grade Spirit Transformation realm. They would have the strength of the 1st grade Formation Arrangement realm after breaking through to the 9th grade Spirit Transformation realm. Currently, most of the people who had entered the martial saint realm were 1st stage Grotto Heaven realm. It was already very powerful if there was occasionally a second-stage Grotto Heaven Realm cultivator. However, Li Yuanqing was not careless. This world where martial artists ran amok was really too big. Who knew how many experts were hiding in the dark? Moreover, Li Yuanqing had signed in at the ancient ruins and obtained many medicinal pills and treasures. Any one of these things was very powerful, making Li Yuanqing yearn for the experts of the ancient times. Only by becoming stronger could he deal with the unpredictable world in the future. On this day, Li Yuanqing signed in at the ruins of the Wilderness Valley. A voice sounded in his head. Congratulations to the host for signing in successfully. Reward: Vitality Reinforcement Pill. Reward 1: 100 Vitality Reinforcement Pill. Reward 2: Demon Subduing Palm. These vitality reinforcement pills were the things that Li Yuanqing had received the most from signing in recently. He had thousands of them in his hands, so many that he could not even finish them all. He even threw these pills to Hu Jujio or Cao. Therefore, this time, he chose the Demon Subduing Palm without hesitation. Soon, a Demon Subduing Palm manual appeared in front of him. He touched the manual with his hand. Li Yuanqing did not need to look at it. The contents of the manual appeared in his mind. This Demon Subduing Palm was also divided into several realms. They were the rudimentary understanding, proficiency, master, pinnacle, and perfection. Moreover, one could not practice unless one was at the 4th grade Grotto Heaven realm or above. Li Yuanqing was in a good mood. His current strength was at the peak of the 4th grade Grotto Heaven realm, and he could break through to the 5th grade at any time. He was just missing an opportunity. Li Yuanqing did not stay idle at all after obtaining the Demon Subduing Palm. He immediately started cultivating. For the next few days, he almost forgot to eat and sleep. Soon, he went from the rudimentary understanding level to the proficiency level. When he entered the proficiency level, the aura in his body suddenly became ferocious, as if it wanted to vent. This made him run towards the hinterlands of the wilderness. Moreover, as he ran, the Demon Subduing Palm in his hand slashed towards Yang Mountain, which was the tallest mountain in the hinterlands. The mountain range that was originally the highest in the wilderness was sent flying like powder with a slap. The originally high mountain instantly turned into flat ground. Amidst the rumbling sounds, the highest mountain range in the wilderness had already turned into flat ground. Countless vicious beasts on the mountain looked at Li Yuanqing in fear like birds startled by the twang of a bow. Li Yuanqing was probably the biggest nightmare of the vicious beasts that were lucky enough to escape. Furthermore, they would never dare to face him in their lives. He was too terrifying. With the help of the Demon Subduing Palm, Li Yuanqing easily stepped into the 5th grade Grotto Heaven realm. The commotion caused by splitting open the Yang Mountain was too great. Soon, the boss serpent led a group of vicious beasts over aggressively. However, when it saw that it was Li Yuanqing, it instantly became obedient and even circled him twice. This boss serpent didn't know how to speak. If it knew how to speak, it would definitely cheer loudly. In any case, no matter what its master did, he was right. Boss serpent, come with me. Li Yuanqing waved at the boss serpent after he advanced easily. Soon, the boss serpent left with Li Yuanqing. Li Yuanqing felt that it was too convenient to use this huge fellow as a mount. It only took a few minutes to travel from the hinterlands to his residence in the small valley. He remembered that when he first entered the hinterlands of the wilderness, even if he was fast, it would take a few days. Moreover, at that time, the hinterlands of the wilderness were filled with danger. But now it was like his back garden. He could go anywhere. This was the benefit of strength. Not long after Li Yuanqing returned to the wilderness valley, Great Empress Zhaoyang requested to see him. This was the first time they had met in the 3 to 4 years of Zhaoyang's reign. At this moment, Zhaoyang was dressed simply, but there was a hint of worry between her brows. Although she looked like she was only 18 or 19 years old because she had also entered the martial saint realm, the worry in her eyes made Li Yuanqing immediately guess that Zhaoyang was in trouble. Big brother, you haven't changed after so many years. Moreover, I can't even see through your realm now. Zhaoyang bowed to Li Yuanqing. Even though she was already the empress of the kingdom, she was still the little sister who needed to be doted on in front of Li Yuanqing. Li Yuanqing smiled and touched Zhaoyang's smooth hair. Did you encounter another problem? Yes, big brother. I'm already the great empress now. You can return to the imperial city at any time. The imperial palace is yours to begin with. You can stay there if you want. Us siblings are closer. If there's anything, we can discuss it. Xiaoyang still remembered the oath she made when her brother left the palace when she was young. She had to let her brother return to the palace. Now that she was the great empress of the kingdom, her words carried weight. The northern kingdom was hers and her brother. He could naturally enter and leave the palace as he pleased. It's quieter here. I'm focused on cultivating. It's actually quite good to live here. There are many vicious beasts in the wilderness. I can help you keep an eye on them. Li Yuanqing was very satisfied with his current state. To him, wealth in the mortal world was nothing. If he hadn't promised his father, he might have traveled the world very soon and taken the 4 seas as his home. He would have gone to see what the world was like instead of hiding in the wilderness and cultivating nonstop. Big brother, I'm afraid there's something strange about the Wings clan. The Northern Kingdom has finally managed to build a foundation. But a martial saint has died and a martial saint has gone missing. The Northern Kingdom is probably in danger. Soon, Xiaoyang told Li Yuanqing the purpose of her trip. She also told him that the original garrison general of the Northern Kingdom, Qin Feng, had also disappeared from the Wings clan. It would be best if she could save him and completely resolve the matter of the Wings clan. However, she heard from her uncle that the Wings clan was especially powerful. She was very worried and even told Li Yuanqing, "Big brother, if the Wings clan is too powerful, come back quickly. In my heart, your safety is the greatest. Even the Northern Kingdom can't compare." Xiaoyang was different from Li Huanjuan. Li Huanjuan prioritized the country, but in Xiaoyang's case, the world was nothing compared to her brother. She could give up the country for her brother's safety. It's just the Wings clan. It's fine. Go back to the imperial city and wait for my good news.
Li Yuanqing smiled.
The blood moon and blood rain had only been around for 2 to 3 years. There was more spiritual energy in the air than before. Advancing to martial saint was much easier than before. However, this did not mean that he had not improved. His 5th grade Grotto Heaven Realm strength should not be bad. Great Empress Xiaoyang had a long face when she came, but she was relaxed when she left. Since her brother said that it was fine, it would definitely be resolved. It was great to have her brother around. However, she had to quickly support the power that belonged to the Northern Kingdom. She could not rely on her brother for everything. After Xiaoyang left, Li Yuanqing went in the direction of the Wings clan. When he left, he brought Hu Juju along with him. This fellow ate pills every day, and her cultivation speed was especially fast. Recently, she had also entered the 1st stage Martial Saint Grotto Heaven Realm. She was just slightly inferior to the boss serpent. She could still be used as a mount. The Wings clan were not far from the wilderness. It was originally at the border of the Northern Kingdom. There were jungles all around, and the terrain was sparsely populated. In that area, the Li clan was neighbors with the Chong and the Wings clans who lived on the grassland. According to Xiaoyang, the Wings clans had already annexed the Chong and the Li clans. That meant that the grassland under his feet had become the territory of the Wings clan. At this moment, Li Yuanqing was standing on a green grassland. The grass was extremely lush. A shorter child, who was almost a meter tall, could be hidden in the grass and no one would notice him. The grassland in his memory did not have that tall grass because there were many beasts that ate grass, so it was very difficult for them to grow to the knees. However, the spiritual energy in the air here was really dense. Li Yuanqing was here to investigate the sudden increase in strength of the Wings clan. He wanted to see if he could find Qin Feng and bring him back. Therefore, when he passed by the original tribe of the Chong clan, Li Yuanqing did not approach. He only saw someone praying at night and kneeling towards the moonlight. Judging from the green clothes, it should be the clothes of the Wings clan. They did not forget to offer sacrifices after seizing the territory of the Chong clan. Moreover, the Wings clan worshipped the moon god, so they also offered sacrifices to the moon god. The members of the Wings clan formed a circle. The person standing in the middle led the members of the Wings clan in circles. The moonlight shone on them. Li Yuanqing's realm was very high. He had concealed his aura, so these people could not discover him at all. He looked at it for a while and could not see anything special about the sacrifice of the Wings clan. He only felt that the spiritual energy around the grassland was relatively dense. But even so, it was impossible for the Wings clan to rise quickly in a short period of time and have so many experts at once. Li Yuanqing planned to continue checking and see what realm the experts of the Wings clan were in. Speaking of which, it was strange. Li Yuanqing went to many places in the Chang clan and Li clan after that. Although he saw the Wings clan members worshipping, he did not find any experts. There was not a single martial saint here. The strongest martial artist here was only at the peak of the 9th grade. This did not match what Zhao Yang said at all. Therefore, Li Yuanqing continued to search. Only when he found the lair of the Wings clan did he discover that there was a place where the aura of countless experts was hidden. This made him overjoyed, and he rushed over. He only hid his figure slightly to avoid being discovered. This was a place heavily guarded by the Wings clan. It looked like the entrance to a cave. Li Yuanqing thought for a moment and left Cao outside. He planned to go in alone, but Hu Juju jumped onto his shoulder and insisted on following him in. Li Yuanqing did not reprimand her. He stroked her red fur and reminded her, "Behave yourself and don't make any noise. If there's any danger, run." Hu Juju brushed her fur with her claws and nodded. Li Yuanqing was relieved and quietly walked into the cave. With his realm, the Wings clan members guarding the cave did not discover anything when he entered. They would only think that there was only a gust of wind just now. After entering the cave, Li Yuanqing realized that the area inside was especially large, as if a mountain had been hollowed out. However, from the looks of the stones and traces, they did not look like they had been hollowed out recently. Instead, they looked like they had been left behind many years ago, perhaps even 1,000 or 10,000 years ago. At this moment, there was a man and a woman in the cave. Beside their feet were several unconscious martial artists. From their clothes, they were martial artists from the Northern Kingdom. Some were Chang clan members, and some were Li clan martial artists. At this moment, they were piled together, and it was unknown if they were dead or alive. In front of them was another hole that led downwards. The hole was not big, and the exit was only a meter or two wide. Li Yuanqing saw a man from the Wings clan throw the unconscious martial artists into the hole like throwing carrots. He was still counting as he threw them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, 10 today is enough. Goddess. The man threw all the martial artists under his feet into the hole. When he threw them down, there was no echo from the hole, as if it was bottomless. Li Yuanqing did not stop them when they threw those people down. He only glanced at the woman who was called the goddess. She looked to be in her 30s and was only at the peak of the 9th grade martial artist. Li Yuanqing had clearly sensed the aura of many experts just now, but now he saw that these two were not even martial saints. Yes, throw down 3. Patriarch, we'll wait. At most, tomorrow, 10 oracles will come to help us. With these 10 oracles, we'll first snatch Great Empress Xiaoyang, then occupy the Northern Kingdom and make it our vassal. This man and woman were actually the goddess and patriarch of the Wings clan, and this hole seemed to be able to summon some oracles. The strongest members of the Wings clan were only the patriarch and the goddess. With their strength, it was impossible for them to invade the Li clan and the Chang clan. However, the oracles that were coming should be very powerful since they're thinking about invading the Northern Kingdom. They should be at least a martial saint. There were 10 martial saints coming through this hole. It was too easy for these experts to come. But where did this hole lead to? How could it produce 10 oracles after 10 ordinary martial artists were thrown down? This made Li Yuanqing extremely curious. As expected, the Wings clan was hiding a secret. He wanted to see how the experts of the Wings clan came about, and he wanted to know where this hole leads to. Time passed slowly. Li Yuanqing was a living person in the cave. He only hid his presence, but the patriarch and goddess of the Wings clan did not notice him. They were just chatting idly while saying that the person they captured was too stubborn and discussing whether they should throw him into this cave next time. The person they captured? Could it be that garrison general, Qin Feng? Zhao Yang said that his life and death were unknown when he went to the Wings clan. He must have been captured. Li Yuanqing waited coldly in the cave. He wanted to see what kind of oracles would appear in the end. He waited while the patriarch and goddess of the Wings clan waited anxiously as they talked with each other. Soon, Li Yuanqing figured out the origin of this hole. It turned out that according to the records of the Wings clan's genealogy, when the blood moon appeared, this holy land would open and a very strange phenomenon would appear in that cave. That phenomenon happened when they threw down a few ordinary martial artists. When those martial artists came up again, they were still the same people. However, their strength had increased greatly. They were like different people. They became very powerful. In the past, there would be one at a time, but someone discovered that if 3 of them were thrown down at the same time, 3 oracles would appear. However, none would come up if 4 were thrown down. After these oracles climbed up from the hole in the ground, they would help the Wings clan do some things. This gave the Wings clan the capital to expand. Furthermore, martial artists could not be thrown into this cave at any time. There was a time limit for martial artists to come up. There would be 2 chances every year. This was why the Wings clan only attacked more than a year after the blood moon. It was because they had only used it 3 times until now. This was the 4th time. They had obtained 9 experts before this. If there were 3 more experts this time, the Wings clan would have 12 experts. The Wings clans with 12 experts were much stronger than the Northern Kingdom. At that time, it would be very normal for them to become the strongest existence in this world. That was why the patriarch and the goddess were extremely excited. They could not help but talk about the secrets of the Wings clan. They thought that this was the safest place, but they did not expect Li Yuanqing to be here and heard everything clearly. However, from their conversation, it seemed like they did not know where the hole led to. Moreover, these experts who had risen from the hole would be very strange. They would return to the hole every once in a while. This time, the 9 experts had also returned to the hole. However, after some time, they would come out of the hole again. Therefore, the patriarch of the Wings clan and the goddess guarded this place and waited for the return of this batch of oracles. When they completely returned to the Wings clan, they could attack the Northern Kingdom. Li Yuanqing was glad that he had come to the Wings clan personally after hearing this. If he hadn't come here to take a look, he definitely wouldn't have thought that there was such a strange thing in this world. This hole was probably an exit that led somewhere, or there was something strange about those oracles. Just as Li Yuanqing was guessing about the hole and the oracles, he heard a voice in his mind. "Host, do you want to sign in at the entrance of the catacombs?" The entrance to the catacombs? Was this the catacombs? Li Yuanqing was shocked. He had once read some ancient biographies about the catacombs. It was said that countless demons had surged out of the catacombs, so much so that all the experts had gone to guard the catacombs from being destroyed. Human experts would even enter the catacombs and set up camp there. Then, they would eliminate the demons in the catacombs and prevent them from entering the human world. Initially, Li Yuanqing thought that the catacombs would only appear in ancient biographies. He did not expect to encounter the catacombs at the border of the Northern Kingdom. This was not a good sign. Sign in. According to Li Yuanqing's past experience, such a rare place could usually be marked with an especially different treasure. Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in to the catacombs. Reward 1. 100 demon-slaying swords. Reward 2. Demon-sealing sword formation. Li Yuanqing was surprised to see these 2 rewards. They were both good things. However, how many demons were there in the catacombs? This time, the Wings clan had created 3 of them at once. They had already created 9 of them. Moreover, other than the Wings clan, who knew if there were other places like this? Even if he had 100 demon-slaying swords, he would not be able to guard against a large number of demons from the catacombs. Instead of killing demons, it was better to think of a way to seal or suppress these catacombs. Otherwise, it would be much more troublesome in the future. Therefore, Li Yuanqing chose the demon-sealing sword formation. As Li Yuanqing had guessed, this demon-sealing sword formation was somewhat different from the Heavenly Cycle Demon Extinguishing Array. The Heavenly Cycle Demon Extinguishing Array could be set up above the Imperial City to protect the citizens of the city from being attacked. However, this demon-sealing sword formation could directly seal the catacombs and prevent the demons inside from escaping. This was simply too timely to the current Li Yuanqing. If he hadn't come to the Wings clan, He wouldn't have thought that the catacombs would appear. The world would be in chaos if all the demons in the catacombs ran out, and there were too many experts. When Li Yuanqing signed in, there was finally some movement in the hole. He saw black gas coming out of the hole continuously. Then, the 3 martial artists who had been thrown down by the patriarch of the Wings clan had already jumped out. 3rd grade Grotto Heaven Realm? The martial artist who was thrown down just now was clearly only an intermediate martial artist. This is too terrifying. Li Yuanqing quickly thought of a possibility. This was not an oracle. These were some demons from the catacombs who had possessed these martial artists. Then, it would cause the strength of these martial artists to increase rapidly. There was even a possibility that these demons might not be just 3rd grade Grotto Heaven Realm martial artists. Welcome, Oracle. The patriarch and goddess of the Wings clan were extremely excited. The oracles that came out this time were clearly stronger than the previous few. They felt that even if the remaining oracles had yet to return, these 3 oracles would be able to sweep through the world. This was the fortune of the Wings clan. However, this ecstasy did not last long. Li Yuanqing slapped the patriarch and the goddess. The power of the demon-subduing palm was extraordinary. The patriarch and goddess of the Wings clan were not even martial saints, so they could not withstand a single slap from him. Before they could figure out what was going on, they had already been slapped into powder. Li Yuanqing hated the fact that they had opened up the catacombs and released these demons. Therefore, he did not show any mercy and killed them with a slap. 3 demons who had just rushed up and greedily took 2 deep breaths were dumbfounded. They could not figure out how this barren world could be so powerful, and they had encountered it the moment they left the catacombs. In the next moment, Li Yuanqing slapped 3 times without hesitation before they could react. This demon-subduing palm seemed to be specially used to restrain these demons. Although their realms were very high, their divine senses had just possessed these martial artists and had yet to completely adapt to these bodies. Therefore, they were scared out of their wits by Li Yuanqing. They could not even say a single word. They had painstakingly waited for the catacombs exit to loosen during the blood moon so that they could possess these martial artists according to the pact made with the Wings clan's ancestors. But they died before they could show their skills. This was injustice. Li Yuanqing did not leave after dealing with the patriarch and goddess of the Wings clan. He had obtained the demon-sealing sword formation and could seal this catacomb. A place like the catacombs could not be opened at all. It should be completely sealed and checked from time to time. Therefore, Li Yuanqing spent the rest of the time setting up the demon-sealing sword formation in the catacombs. From time to time, he would even think about how to strengthen it. Ordinary people did not dare to enter because this cave was the holy land of the Wings clan. Therefore, Li Yuanqing stayed inside for a few days until he had set up the sword formation and completely sealed the catacombs before leaving the cave. Li Yuanqing remembered that the patriarch of the Wings clan and the goddess had once said that there would be 3 chances to loosen the catacombs. He should come over and guard these 3 times to prevent any future troubles. Then, Li Yuanqing went to the Wings clan. After some searching, he found the original garrison general, Qin Feng, who was imprisoned in the dungeon. Qin Feng was almost covered in injuries. If not for the fact that he was already a martial saint, he would have died from the injuries on his body. Qin Feng was originally disheartened. One of the 4 strongest martial saints in the Northern Kingdom was dead, 1 was injured, and 1 was imprisoned. The chance of survival was too small. However, when he saw Li Yuanqing walking over leisurely, his eyes widened. He never expected that the person who came was him. Former crown prince? He was also someone who had once been exiled to the wilderness as a prisoner. Fortunately, he respected him a lot back then and did not deliberately abuse him. General Qin Feng. Li Yuanqing waved his hand, and the chains made of special materials that were tied to Qin Feng broke into pieces. Thank you for saving my life, Your Highness. Qin Feng felt a little emotional. His guess was indeed correct. His Highness was not an ordinary person. It was said that the guardian of the Northern Kingdom was very likely His Highness Li Yuanqing. Moreover, His Highness was too strong. Otherwise, he would not have directly killed his way into the Wings clan's lair alone. However, he did not know where those experts had gone. Those people were really powerful. They were even stronger than the martial saints that the Northern Kingdom had carefully nurtured. The weakest was at the second stage Grotto Heaven realm. They were much stronger than him, who had just entered the martial saint realm and only had the strength of the first stage Grotto Heaven realm. Li Yuanqing was somewhat familiar with Qin Feng. He could be considered a descendant of merit. His ancestors had once established the territory of the Northern Kingdom with the founding martial saint. Later on, many people in the family became officials in the court while he went to the wilderness to protect the borders. Back then, the wilderness had a beast tide every year that was very dangerous. Qin Feng had been guarding the wilderness for 20 to 30 years and was very loyal to the Northern Kingdom. Moreover, he had some backbone after being captured this time. Therefore, Li Yuanqing thought for a moment and brought Qin Feng to the cave directly. He also told him about the catacombs. Qin Feng was so frightened that his entire body turned cold and he was at a loss. "Your Highness, catacombs. There are actually catacombs. I wonder where these catacombs lead to? Moreover, if the catacombs are loose, there will be experts who will possess some martial artists. Those martial artist realms are not low, and there are quite a number of them every time. The Northern Kingdom is in danger." Qin Feng was originally a general stationed in the wilderness. He naturally knew the danger of the catacombs. Once the catacombs loosened and the demons rushed out, the Northern Kingdom would probably become hell on earth, unless they blocked the catacombs and guarded it so that it would never be broken through. Otherwise, the Northern Kingdom would not be safe. With the appearance of the blood moon and the recovery of spiritual energy, there must be more than one catacombs in the world. We were lucky to discover it this time. Go back and report to Zhaoyang. Moreover, you have to start building a team to resist the catacombs. The martial artists of the Northern Kingdom have to grow quickly. Otherwise, Li Yuanqing had brought Qin Feng here to deliver a letter to Zhaoyang, and he had told Qin Feng, "The entrance to this catacomb has been temporarily sealed by my demon sealing sword formation. However, there will be 3 chances to loosen it every year. Therefore, I will come and take a look once a year. Arrange for someone to guard this catacombs and use the Wings clan's place as a buffer station. We can't let the demons of the catacombs come out." After Li Yuanqing arranged Qin Feng's matters, he quickly went to the Li clan and the Chang clan. The patriarch and goddess of the Wings clan had been killed, and those experts had disappeared without a trace. The other members of the Wings clan did not know about the catacomb at all. Therefore, Qin Feng quickly found the Great Empress and brought a group of advanced martial artists from the wilderness to guard the catacomb. Zhaoyang was also shocked when she found out about the catacomb. This was a major event that would shake the country and even change the entire world. Fortunately, after the blood moon of the Northern Kingdom, only this one catacomb was discovered. The injured Qin Feng and the prince took turns guarding it. Li Yuanqing returned to the wilderness valley. He planned to take a look when the catacomb loosened. Not long after, the Wings clan submitted a letter to Great Empress Zhaoyang and presented the evidence of the patriarch and the goddess. Zhaoyang also appointed the new patriarch and goddess of the Wings clan and hid everything about the Holy Land of the Wings clan. The citizens of the Northern Kingdom only knew that the Wings clan were extremely rampant. They had once invaded the territory of the Chang and Li clans, even when facing 3 martial saints. Later on, the guardian of the Northern Kingdom took action and destroyed the patriarch, goddess, and all the experts of the Wings clan. He also returned the land that the Wings clan had occupied to the Chang and Li clans. However, the Chang and Li clans had been slaughtered by the Wings clan countless times. These 3 clans had already become vast and sparsely populated. Great Empress Zhaoyang had ordered that the imperial city was densely populated, and that a portion of the people could volunteer to go. As long as they were willing to go to the Li clan and the Chang clan, they could reclaim the land and farm freely without tax for 3 years. Moreover, they would set up a martial arts academy and send soldiers to the encampment there. Everything was going according to the previous customs of the wilderness. In this way, many commoners at the bottom were willing to move out of the imperial city to obtain more land and forest. The disaster of the Wings clan came and went quickly. It seemed that as long as the guardian of the Northern Kingdom took action, there was nothing that could not be resolved. However, after the disaster of the Wings clan, the atmosphere in the entire Northern Kingdom changed. Every martial arts academy began to rank and compete with each other. Those martial arts academy martial artists began to train everywhere, going to the edge of the wilderness, the forest of the Wings clan, and some dangerous places. Because everyone knew that with the appearance of the blood moon, the entire world's situation was changing. If he did not become stronger, his country would be destroyed at any time. When Li Yuanqing returned to the wilderness valley, he had been cultivating and signing in. The demon sealing sword formation was at the master level. He also calculated the days and specially went to the cave of the Wings clan when the catacomb was loosened again. This time, before he even approached the cave, he could sense that there were many people hiding around him. Their auras were getting stronger and stronger. When Li Yuanqing walked into the hole, he realized that it was very different from the last time he saw it. There were many people stationed outside because the hole was very big. However, this was not special. What was special was that the inside of the hole had been turned into a cultivation place. Qin Feng was recuperating not far from the hole. After Li Yuanqing revealed himself, Qin Feng hurriedly came to see him. "Greetings, Your Highness." "Any movement?" Along the way, Li Yuanqing saw that the defense of the Wings clan's cave was especially strict. There were even layers of defense that placed the cave in the middle. The Northern Kingdom treated the catacomb as an important place. They guarded it strictly and did not allow any mishaps. This made Li Yuanqing nod to himself. The aura in the cave seems to have become stronger these few days. "I'm worried, so I'll stay here day and night," Qin Feng said respectfully.
Li Yuanqing nudda.
According to his calculations, it was easiest for demons to jump out of the catacomb these few days. "You can leave first. I'll guard for a while." Li Yuanqing gestured for Qin Feng to leave. After everyone left, he unsealed the demon sealing sword formation. If he remembered correctly, there should be 9 experts under the hole who had been summoned by the Wings clan. He decided to take the opportunity to let these demons up and teach them a lesson. He could also take the opportunity to sign in for some things here. As expected, as soon as he unlocked the demon sealing sword array, a voice sounded in his mind. "Host, do you want to sign in at the entrance of the catacombs?" "Sign in." As expected, he could sign in repeatedly here. Moreover, the effect was better if he signed in every once in a while. It was similar to his guest back then. Congratulations to the host for getting the Demon Slayer sword. 1. 100 Demon Slayer swords. 2. A book of demon language. There were very few records of the demons in the catacombs in the records of the Northern Kingdom. There were only a few sentences, and they were not very detailed. Therefore, Li Yuanqing did not know much about the demons in the catacombs. He did not even know what the levels were over there. He of course had no idea about demon language. However, Li Yuanqing remembered that he had learned the demon sealing sword formation last time, but he had never had a suitable sword to make a sword formation. He felt that the effect was not good. So Li Yuanqing chose the first option this time and obtained 100 Demon Slayer swords. A Demon Slayer sword appeared in front of him. The Demon Slayer sword split into 2 into 4. Soon, there were hundreds of Demon Slayer swords in front of Li Yuanqing. Moreover, every single one of these Demon Slayer swords was cold and sharp. One look and he could tell that they were not ordinary. Every single one of them was connected to Li Yuanqing's mind, which made him very happy. Soon, he placed the Demon Slayer sword into his dantian to nourish it. Then, he stared at the unsealed catacomb. The entrance to the catacomb was deep inside. He wanted to see if the 9 experts summoned by the Wings clan were still around. The experts under the hole had known after the seal was removed. At this moment, they were overjoyed. They had been trapped in the catacomb for many years. It was not easy for them to wait until the red moon when the entrance to the catacomb loosened and come to the human world by colluding with the Wings clan. They had originally wanted to show off their skills and enjoy the delicacies of the world, but they did not expect to be sealed by Li Yuanqing when they returned to the cave to adapt to their new bodies. So this time, they immediately rushed out as soon as they saw the seal loosen, wanting to reach a new agreement with the Wings clan. They could help the Wings clan kill, but they could not seal them again. However, when the first expert rushed out, he realized that the handsome young man in front of him was not the patriarch of the Wings clan they knew, nor was he from the Wings clan. His strength was much stronger than theirs too. This expert wanted to escape, but he discovered that the cave entrance had been sealed again, and he was the only one in this cave. The demon was dumbfounded. He couldn't escape even if he wanted to. He wanted to fight, but his companions didn't come up. He was alone, so it didn't seem like he could defeat him. What now? Li Yuanqing did not think too much about it. The demon that came up had the strength of a second-grade grotto heaven realm. It was a good opportunity for him to practice. It had been a long time since he had a chance to find such a good sparring partner. Therefore, Li Yuanqing kept this expert and gave him a heavy beating. Be it using the Saint Extermination Stone or the Clear Sky Sword, Li Yuanqing deliberately showed mercy. He only used him to practice and did not kill him. 10 minutes later, Li Yuanqing felt that this demon that had escaped from the catacomb only had those few moves. He smacked the demon to smithereens when he found out that the demon did not have any new moves. Only then was he relieved. There was really no need for him to be soft-hearted against these demons after they killed so many clansmen of the Chong and Li clans. Killing them all was much better than staying in this hole and sealing them. After all, the dead were the safest and least threatening. The next day, Li Yuanqing came again. Just like the day before, he opened the demon sealing sword formation in the catacomb and waited for these demons to rush up. This time, two came. The two demons had been wondering. Their companions seemed to have gone up yesterday and had not come down again. He had not given them any news either. Did he get any benefits, which was why he did not call them? The last time they reached an agreement with the Wings clan to kill, they had gained a lot of benefits. At that time, no one wanted to monopolize it. Therefore, as soon as the seal was loosened, the two demons rushed out again. Li Yuanqing signed in again, but this time, he actually got a book of the demon language. He could also stretch his muscles and get rid of these two demons. These two were also second-grade Grotto Heaven Realm experts. Although their strength was not very strong, one of them cultivated a special cultivation technique. That demon had a cultivation technique that could make him invisible and hide, so he had almost escaped the cave when Li Yuanqing wasn't careful. On the third day, Li Yuanqing opened the demon sealing sword formation again and signed in again. This time, he obtained a shadowless art. The main function of this cultivation technique was to hide. This was a little different from the cultivation technique Li Yuanqing knew now. He was now relying on his high strength, which was at the 5th grade Grotto Heaven realm. If the other party's cultivation realm was lower than his, no one could see him as long as he did not get too close to the other party, in addition with the terrain and his speed. However, this shadowless art could allow him to still hide his figure in front of experts above the 5th or 6th grade Grotto Heaven realm. Moreover, the effect was especially good. It was simply a sharp weapon. Li Yuanqing had the Sand Escape technique, the shadowless art, the demon subduing palm, the demon slayer sword, and the Saint Extermination Stone. He felt that even if he encountered a super powerful expert in the Northern Kingdom, his life would not be in danger even if he could not defeat him. For the next few days, Li Yuanqing guarded the entrance of the catacomb and killed all the demons who had formed an alliance with the Wings clan. No more demons could come up, and he had also signed in many good things. After he could no longer sign in at the entrance of the catacomb, Li Yuanqing reluctantly sealed this place with the demon sealing sword formation again. However, he was still worried, so he added a minor heavenly cycle demon extinguishing array. A total of 2 sword formations sealed the entrance of the catacomb tightly. That was not all. Qin Feng and his uncle from the Northern Kingdom took turns staying in the cave to guard the entrance of the catacomb. Under such circumstances, not to mention that the entrance to the catacomb only had 2 or 3 chances to loosen every year, and those demons had to use the bodies of human martial artists to possess their bodies and leave the catacomb. Even if the catacomb could be loosened frequently, the Wings clan's catacomb was still heavily guarded by Li Yuanqing. The demons there had no chance to come over at all. Even so, the cautious Li Yuanqing did not let his guard down. He still got the 2 martial saints of the Northern Kingdom to guard the entrance of the cave, and even got the garrison and the Martial Arts Academy to suppress this catacomb. Li Yuanqing returned to the Wilderness Valley to cultivate after dealing with the entrance to the catacomb. At the same time, he studied the demon language, the 100 demon slayer swords, and the demon slaying sword formation. This was because Li Yuanqing had a premonition that there would definitely be more than one catacomb after the Red Moon. The Northern Kingdom had only discovered this one for the time being. There might be similar places elsewhere. Sure enough, not long after, when Wang Shun delivered tea to Li Yuanqing, he told him about the Yufu Kingdom. The Yufu Kingdom was located in the south of the Northern Kingdom. There was a section of land that bordered the Northern Kingdom. Moreover, there was a small area in the wilderness that was also the border of the Yufu Kingdom. The Yufu Kingdom was slightly larger than the Northern Kingdom. It was said that it was guarded by an extremely powerful old ancestor, and they have Yufu Mountain, which was a holy land. If not for the fact that the Yufu Kingdom believed in the Yufu Mountain and had no intention of expanding, the Northern Kingdom would have long been annexed by the Yufu Kingdom. This was because the Yufu Kingdom had existed for more than 1,000 years, and the emperor of the Yufu Kingdom was once the direct descendant of their old ancestor. Therefore, the Northern Kingdom had always been on good terms with the Yufu Kingdom. Fortunately, the two countries were very big and were quite far apart, so very little news about the Yufu Kingdom spread to the wilderness. However, this time, Wang Shun chatted with Li Yuanqing about the Yufu Kingdom. Your Highness, I'm not sure if you remember the Yufu Kingdom. The original Yufu Kingdom was really strong because it had the backing of the Yufu Mountain. They had 7 or 8 martial saints. There were even rumors that their old ancestor was unfathomable and had lived for more than 1,000 years. Li Yuanqing used to be nurtured as the crown prince, so he definitely knew about the Yufu Kingdom that Wang Shun mentioned. Naturally, he knew more than Wang Shun. The Yufu Kingdom is just the representative of the Yufu Mountain in the mortal world. Such a country has a deep and stable foundation. After all, the Yufu Mountain is one of the 3 immortal mountains in the world.
Li Yuanqing siga.
The commoners regarded the emperor as extremely noble, but in the eyes of Yufu Mountain, he was just a person who dealt with the mortal world on their behalf. It did not matter if the country was not governed well. As long as the ruler of the Yufu Mountain had no objections, the emperor of the Yufu Kingdom would be stable. This immortal mountain has also encountered a huge problem. The Yufu Kingdom is now filled with demons. I heard that a place collapsed and a catacomb appeared. Then, the people of the Yufu Kingdom dealt with it slowly. Therefore, many demons had escaped. Although the people of the Yufu Mountain win in the end, the situation doesn't seem to be good. Wang Shun actually knew about the catacombs as well, but he was talking about the catacombs of the Yufu Mountain. He did not know that the catacomb had actually appeared in the Northern Kingdom before. This was because the great Empress Xiaoyang was afraid that the commoners would be frightened by the chaos. Only a few martial saints knew the secrets of the catacombs after Li Yuanqing dealt with it. Ordinary citizens, generals, ministers, and so on did not know that the Northern Kingdom also had a catacomb. A catacomb in the Yufu Kingdom? Demons escaped? Li Yuanqing was a little surprised when he heard Wang Shun mention the catacombs. He had originally guessed that there might be catacombs in other places in the world. He did not expect that the Yufu Kingdom, which had the Yufu Mountain as their backer, would also have catacombs. They did not seal them off? Wasn't Yufu Mountain especially powerful? At least in Li Yuanqing's impression, the Northern Kingdom had only been established for a short period of time and did not have any foundation. But the Yufu Kingdom was different. It was larger than the Northern Kingdom and even had the 1,000-year-old Yufu Mountain as its backing. When Li Huanjuan ascended the throne, the Yufu Mountain was known to have 10 martial saints. This kind of strength was not something a country like the Northern Kingdom could compare to. Moreover, after the Blood Moon, the spiritual energy in the world began to recover. There were 3 or 4 martial saints in the Northern Kingdom, but it was said that there were dozens or even hundreds of martial saints on Yufu Mountain. The difference was not small. That's right, a catacomb has appeared. God bless us. Our Northern Kingdom is a pure land. Don't let any catacomb appear. This is not a good sign. I heard that more than 10 martial saints of the Yufu Mountain have died just to block that catacomb. At this point, Wang Shun quickly poured a cup of tea for Li Yuanqing, still praying for peace in the Northern Kingdom. How would he know that the catacomb had actually appeared in the Northern Kingdom a year or 2 ago? After Wang Shun left, Li Yuanqing brought Hujuju with him. He held a cup of tea in his hand and stood by the lake, quietly looking at the lake. The world was finally in chaos with the appearance of the blood moon. Cow lowered its head and ate grass by the lake. From time to time, it would rub against Li Yuanqing. Cao was the most timid and the weakest. He was the most cowardly. If you have nothing to do, go to the Wilderness Martial Arts Academy and tease the students there. You can be their sparring partner. Although he had sealed a catacomb, it would be hard to guarantee that there weren't any more coming out. Therefore, he had to take precautions and let the Cow have a look at the Wilderness Martial Arts Academy. It could be considered training for those students. He really had no choice. Cow was the only coward in his hands. Cow, who was eating grass, was stunned when it heard Li Yuanqing's words. It looked at Li Yuanqing and then at Hu Jujio. It wanted to hide behind its master, but its body was too big to hide. Moreover, it was so timid and weak. How could he play with those students? Cow did not want to go, but in the end, it was kicked out by Hu Jujio. Just like that, it reluctantly walked towards the Martial Arts Academy of the Wilderness. The moment Cow left the Wilderness Valley, it immediately caused a commotion in the entire wilderness. Such a huge, vicious beast was really fatal. General Qin Feng had been transferred to the Wings clan's encampment. Zhang Quan was the one guarding the wilderness. He was a deputy general. When he heard the report, he wanted to rush out with his men. If such a vicious beast appeared, something big would happen. However, when he heard the soldiers report that the Ling who had come out of the Wilderness Valley, he stopped in his tracks and thought of the mysterious crown prince. Forget it, just follow this vicious beast. You don't have to care about it as long as it doesn't hurt anyone. Zhang Quan's subordinates were trembling with fear. They had never heard of vicious beasts not hurting anyone. However, since the deputy general wanted them to follow, so be it. These people watched as Cow swaggered into the entrance of the Wilderness Martial Arts Academy. Wang Xian was patrolling the Martial Arts Academy when he heard his subordinates reporting in a panic. "Dean, something bad has happened. A vicious beast at the Martial Saint level has barged in. Hurry up and think of a way. Ring the bell as a warning. Follow me." Wang Xian was also a person who had seen the world. He immediately rushed to the front of the Ling Hu. When he saw Cow leisurely strolling around the Martial Arts Academy with such a huge body, he felt his scalp tingle. It had been many years since he had seen such a vicious beast in the wilderness. Where did it come from? Pass down my orders. All teachers and students of the Martial Arts Academy, gather here and drive this vicious beast away. I will report to the court if you can make a great contribution and reward you handsomely. Although the Martial Arts Academy of the Wilderness was the strongest, there was not a single martial saint among them. The strongest, Wang Xian, was only a peak 9th grade martial artist. The remaining martial artists were at most 9th grade, 8th grade, and 7th grade. Among the students, those with 7th grade strength were considered very powerful existences. But even so, it was not enough in front of Cow. Cow was very smart. It remembered its purpose for coming here, so it arched to the east and then to the west, causing the people in the Martial Arts Academy to scream. All kinds of weapons attacked it like crazy. Cow was thick-skinned and did not take these to heart at all. Occasionally, it would sneeze and step on someone's sword or kick their saber away, scaring those martial artists so much that they could not help but retreat. It wasn't fun at all. Cow was a little aggrieved. No matter which direction it went, the people in that direction would try their best to avoid it. They did not dare to fight it at all. This was different from what its master had instructed it to do. Its master had said to spar with them, so he had to spar with them. Therefore, when it used its horn to pick up Wang Xian, everyone in the Martial Arts Academy went crazy. Their eyes turned red as they rushed towards him. Ouch, that hurts. Cow raised its leg and felt a little uncomfortable, but it did not leave. It continued to tease these students, causing Wang Xian, who had been thrown onto his back, to have his hair stand on end. His face was ferocious and his eyes were red. Be careful, hit its eyes. You must take down this vicious beast. Otherwise, countless citizens will die if it rushes onto the streets. At this moment, Wang Xian did not care about his own safety at all. However, everyone was anxious that he was too close to this vicious beast and could be killed by it at any time. What if the dean died? This was something they did not dare to think about. At this moment, the Martial Arts Academy in the wilderness was in chaos. Countless teachers and students had gathered. Someone had trained them to set up an array formation and kill Cow with numbers. After all, Cao's cultivation was very high. A martial saint-level vicious beast was a disaster for these people. Some stronger martial artists did not care about their own safety and wanted to save the dean. If they really could not, they would use their lives to exchange for it. For a moment, the martial arts academy in the wilderness was in chaos. Even Zhang Quan's side was alarmed, but he thought about it and refused to send troops. This was because he knew in his heart that the vicious beast had come out of the small valley. Although the commotion was fierce and the scene was chaotic, no one died even when there were people injured. Although Cao looked fierce, it had no intention of killing anyone. Most importantly, Cao came from the small valley. Zhang Quan felt inexplicably at ease with that person there. This time, Zhang Quan's judgment was right. After causing a ruckus in the Wilderness Martial Arts Academy for 2 to 4 hours, this vicious beast Cao suddenly left. Wang Xian was also thrown down. He stood there in a daze. After a long time, he was surprised to discover that although the thousands of students present were all covered in dust, and some of them were still dripping with blood, not a single one of the thousands of people was seriously injured or dead. The most important thing was him. He was actually fine. This vicious beast had only caused a commotion, but it had given the students in the Martial Arts Academy the experience of dealing with a martial saint-level vicious beast. At least, they would not be so rash next time. There shouldn't be a next time anymore. However, in less than a day, Cao came again. This time, the people from the Martial Arts Academy had some experience. They formed teams and set up formations. 100 people formed a team and defended against Cao. At least, no one was seriously injured today. This was a huge improvement. Wang Xian was overjoyed. Moreover, this vicious beast left again after causing a ruckus for 4 hours. Wang Xian lost track of Cao when he tried to tail it after this, but he thought about it and did not pursue the matter. After that day, this Ling Hu would appear in the Martial Arts Academy. As a result, the number of injuries had decreased from 10 to 3, and they could occasionally counterattack Cao. This made Cao feel very embarrassed. He followed behind Li Yuanqing and took pills to cultivate before continuing to practice with all the teachers and students of the Martial Arts Academy. Speaking of which, the Martial Arts Academy was also strong. Cao's cultivation level was increasing, and those teachers and students were also very powerful. Although they were not strong, they knew how to form teams and set up arrays. Although they could not win against Cao, they did not lose very badly. One day when Cao came, it actually threw a book to Wang Xian. It was a kind of tripartite demon-subduing array. This stunned Wang Xian. After flipping through a few pages, he bowed respectfully to Cao. Although I can't imagine who can order you around, you will be the sacred object of our martial arts academy in the future. Please accept our worship. Wang Xian led the thousands of people from the martial arts academy and bowed to Cao. When Cao saw so many people bowing to him, it panicked. Its master wanted it to be their sparring partner, not to be worshipped by them. If it did not do this well, it would be despised by its master. At the thought of this, Cao panicked and rushed into the crowd. Wang Xian shouted anxiously, form the arrays, attack!" The Martial Arts Academy of the Wilderness was once again in chaos. After all the teachers and students were ruthlessly abused by Cao, it left in satisfaction. The days passed slowly. At the end of the year, when all the Martial Arts Academy League competitions in the Northern Kingdom were held, the Wilderness Martial Arts Academy's combat strength ranking immediately took up the top 3 positions of the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade martial artists. This shocked all the Martial Arts Academy students. Great Empress Zhaoyang was so happy that she personally received Wang Xian and even those students. However, when the other martial arts academies secretly asked about the training experience of the Wilderness Martial Arts Academy, Wang Xian smiled bitterly.